everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a makeup video and I'm going to be decluttering my foundation and complexion products. Usually I only have a couple foundations in my collection. I don't tend to wear foundation that often, but I thought it would be a good idea to clear out my makeup collection, get rid of things I'm not using, so I thought I would start here. So let me actually start with maybe the couple of products that kind of go into complexion slash highlighting. So I'm going to start with this Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. This is the mini size in shade 5.5. I wanted to try this out. I got this last year, and I have used it under foundation, mixed in with foundation, and as a highlighter on top of foundation. And it's fine for all purposes. I really like it. Here is the shade. Let me see if I can swatch this for you. And it does provide a nice glow. I think it does a better job of providing that glow on top of the skin. So I tend to wear it as a highlighter more often than underneath my complexion, but I do use it. I use this on a pretty regular basis. I actually want to use this up. So I'm probably going to put this in a project pan. And I actually got another one for free when I made a purchase from, I believe, Sephora. So I want to make sure this gets used up. So I will be keeping this one. Make this the keep pile. The next one I have is the iconic London Radiance Booster, and this is in the shade Bronze Glow. I don't know if you can see that here, probably not. I saw a YouTuber, I can't remember her name now, unfortunately, but I saw her doing a makeup tutorial and she used this product and I had been curious about it and I really liked the way it looked on her. So let me also spritz a little bit of this out. So here it is right here, and let me swatch it out. This one I haven't played with as much. I've tried it once or twice. I need to play with this some more, but it is still fairly new to my collection, so I will be keeping it. I'll probably throw it into like a makeup monthly next month. That way I'll remember to reach for it, use it, and see if I actually benefit from a product like that. And the last type of highlighter slash complexion product I have here is the Auric Glow Lust, and this is in the shade Goldstone. This is new. I just got this in the last Beautylish gift card event, so I think that was in October or November. So this is really new. I've used this a few times. I still need to play around with it some more. I've done it under foundation. I've used it as a highlighter multiple times and it looks really beautiful. I need to try mixing it in with my foundation. I haven't tried that yet, but I will also be keeping this. Okay, so now let's move on to just a foundation. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Long Wear Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 19. This was actually sent to me by Influencer years ago. I'm not sure when this came out, but that's when it was sent to me. So it's pretty old, and I can definitely tell it's expired. You can't see how much was used up, but I probably got to about halfway, and this was good. The color match was fine. I have 6W1 Sandalwood, which is an okay shade for me in the summertime, but it pulls a little red on my skin. The depth is fine, but the undertone pulls really red or orange on my skin sometimes. So this was something I just kind of would dab on. I would put on some eyeshadow and then just dab a little bit on like around my eyes a little bit, you know, to kind of blend out the look into my skin. I don't think I've ever worn it full face. Again, I wasn't wearing foundation that much, but this one definitely needs to be decluttered because it is old and expired and gross. The next one I have here is Nars. I actually have two shades. So this is the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation. This is the shade Macao, And I also have the shade Moorea. So I owned this Nars Sheer Glow years ago. I mean, years and years and years and years ago when I was much younger. Went through a bottle, and it was fine. Again, foundation was never really my jam. I was more into eyeshadows, and I would just leave my skin bare. So it was fine. I didn't love it. I didn't dislike it. On the days when I wanted to even out my complexion, it was fine. I also didn't have the best skincare routine back then. I recently tried it again. I picked up a bottle from Sephora, I think right before they stopped selling it there. I don't know what happened. But I picked up a bottle in Macao because that was a shade I had worn before and loved it. It looked so good. It wore so well. The only thing was the shade, again, pulled a little red orangey on me, but I got it in the summertime, so it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too noticeable. But now that it's winter time, it definitely makes my face look redder than the rest of my body. But I loved it so much that I was trying to figure out the correct shade. So eventually, I kept eyeing the shade Moorea, which I knew wasn't going to be the right shade for me because it just was way too light. This is not, well, at least in my opinion, close to my skin tone. But I got a sample, or did I just buy the bottle? I got a sample of Moorea in a different line from Nars and just did like a test spot, and the undertone was perfect. It was like a shade lighter than I would like, especially in the summertime when I got it, but the undertone was perfect. So I bought a bottle, and the sheer glow actually is a little bit deeper, so I can wear this on its own and it's fine, but I will mix them to get the right undertone with the correct depth. So these ones are, again, kind of newer to my collection. I got a pump for this one because I wear this one the most often. And this one just has the, lid and no pump that everybody gets so mad about, which I understand. It's super annoying. I don't think I cared when I was younger, but now that I'm older, it's annoying that there's not a pump on it, and that you have to pay extra for it. I know it's only $6, but that's kind of ridiculous at this point. But I do love the formula. This is one of my favorites in my collection now. So I'm really glad I tried the Moorea shade. If you have tried Macao and it is pulling just a little too orange, a little too red on you, and you've tried other shades like Caracas and Marquises, and those also don't work, give Moorea a try. See if you can get your hands on a sample. Give it a try to see if the undertone matches, because it might actually be your shade, even though it's in the it's like MD 2.3, which is not a shade I should be able to wear at all. I don't know if they just miscalculated, because when you look at them together, it's not that much lighter and really has a strong yellow golden undertone. So again, in the wintertime when I have very little color in my skin, this is fine. And in the summertime, I mix them together and it gave me the undertone I was looking for. So I will be keeping those. Let's come to here. The next foundation I have is Born This Way by Too Faced. This is the original one. This is a shade this is the foundation when it came out. Jackie Aina had expanded the shades, and I thought I was the same foundation shade as she was. This was a while ago. This was obviously years ago. So I bought the shade Chai, went through a whole bottle. I loved the formula. It looked so good. It was one of the first foundations that I actually really enjoyed wearing and thought it looked good on my skin. Granted, I was starting to get into skincare by that point, so my skin was just better. But it looked a little red, looked a little reddish orange on my skin. But I thought maybe that's just what foundations do. I'm never going to find the shade that's actually perfect for me. But that was years ago. Went through a bottle, didn't buy another one because I stopped wearing foundations because it was frustrating to never have it match my skin. Went and tried it again, but this time I tried the shade Butter Pecan. Again, not thinking that it was going to work, but it was the only shade up that had that yellow golden undertone I was looking for. Tried it on, perfect match. So if you thought chai was your match, but it's a little too red deep on you and you're not sure what shade to try, give Butter Pecan a whirl. It really does have that true kind of golden undertone that I needed. I love this. I just bought this when Too Faced had their 40% off sale. I'm not sure when that was. Maybe end of like towards the end of last summer. So this is still kind of new and I love that one. Let's come here again. I don't think I'm decluttering very many of these. The next one I have is Estee Lauder. This is the Double Wear Stay in Place. This is definitely one of those like cult classic foundations. Most people have tried it, know about it, have heard it. Again, I have the shade 6W1. This is half used up. This is probably my third or fourth bottle of this foundation. This was another foundation. I think I definitely had this before I tried the Too Faced, where I put it on and it looked good on my face all day. When they say stay in place, they mean it. It's one of the few foundations that doesn't crease. It doesn't do anything weird on my skin. It looks almost as good when I get home from work as when I put it on early in the morning when I left. This is a great long-lasting foundation. I have dry skin. This is a more matte formula, but it doesn't feel very drying. And I appreciated that. But again, the 6W1 Sandalwood shade was just pulling a little red orange on me. So I stopped reaching for that. And now this one is probably really old and expired. So I'm going to declutter that one and let it go. It needs to be tossed. I still haven't found my perfect shade in this one. I think I'm going to try mixing 6W1 with 5W1 bronze because that one's very yellow, but it's too light for me. But maybe that really strong yellow undertone will negate some of that red that's popping up on my skin for this one. The next one I have here is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. This is one I tried years ago. I got the shade 11. And I wasn't a huge fan. I don't think I finished the bottle. I think it expired and I ended up tossing it years ago. And it just, I didn't particularly like it. I thought the coverage was too light. I didn't see what the hype was. And it looked red on my skin. It made my skin look red. So this time I bought the shade 10 and this is a much, much better match for me and it looks beautiful on. And one thing I've learned in the past several years is that your skincare really is what you should be focusing on before you try to put makeup on top of it. But I love this. I bought this in the Sephora fall sale, so this is pretty brand new. So I will be keeping that. The next one I have is Nars, and this is the Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I have this in the shade Macao. I tested this out extensively with Macao and Moorea and then mixed together. Moorea is the correct undertone, but because of the formula, it pulls too light. It's fine like on the top half of my face, but on the lower half of my face, like near my chin, it's just a little bit deeper than the rest of my face. And so it started to look a little ghostly there. And Macao actually works depth-wise. It does have a little bit of that wrong undertone. But in the summertime, when I get a lot more color and I have more of those kind of orangey red tones coming out of my skin, it's perfect. And in the cooler weather, when there's not as much sun, I actually mix it with the Sheer Glow in Moorea, and it's perfect, and it looks so good. This foundation is beautiful. Again, I have dry skin. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it because it's matte, but they do mean it when they say soft matte. It doesn't dry out your skin too much, and I just make sure I'm well hydrated before I put it on, so I will be keeping that. And the last one I have is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. I have two shades. The first one I purchased was Macao. So this is the shade Macao. And you can see here that's about half gone. I love the way this looks on the skin. This is a more serum-like foundation, which my skin loves. It's hydrating. It gives like that nice subtle luminosity, but it's not shiny or too glowy. At least not for me. But again, my skin is dry, so maybe it is, but my skin just sucks it up and I don't notice. I've had this for a couple years. This is, I don't think it's expired, but I do think it's on its way out. So this is like on the chopping block. It needs to be discarded soon. I don't think it's got long left in this world. So I want to try to use it up as much as possible before it really does hit that it's time to go mark. So I'm putting it in my January makeup monthly to really try to use it up. In the summertime, the shade is fine. It's a little orangey, but it's not too bad. Again, when I have a lot of color, it's fine. But in the wintertime, when I have less color to my skin, I did get Moorea, which is a very strong yellow undertone. This I can wear alone. It's fine because of the formula and it's thinner. But I prefer the richness and depth of the Macao. So I just put a little bit of the Moorea in there just to kind of neutralize that orange-red undertone. Or maybe it's the olive undertone that pulls orange-red on my skin because I have very yellow golden undertones. So I put just a little bit of Moorea in there and it's really nice. It works really well together. This is new. This is, again, one I just, it's like, I'll give it a try and see if that undertone works for me, and it does. So I love mixing Moorea with Macao. I know they came out with some new shades of this foundation, and I'm wondering if one of them might work better for me. I'll try to get my hands on a couple samples and see, because I would like to be able to just buy one that works and not have to double purchase to make my perfect shade. So this one I'm definitely keeping, and this one is, I'm keeping it for now, but it's definitely on its way out. It's old. I already have a backup for it. It's starting to do that thing where you pump it out and it looks a little clumpy. Okay, so I have 9 that I am definitely keeping, 2 that are being decluttered to / tossed out, and 1 that's on the chopping block and giving it just another month or 2, and then it's got to go because I don't want to risk my skin breaking out because it's starting to go bad. But this is my first declutter video for makeup for 2025. I think I might do either my lipsticks and lip liners and lip glosses next, or perhaps my like bronzers, highlighters, things like that next. If you have any foundation recommendations for me, please leave them down in the comments below. I want to try the House Labs. I've heard really great things about it, but I want to get through at least 1 or 2 other ones before I purchase any more. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.